modern day masculine man, take one.
Ooh, what makes a modern day masculine man? When you drink your liquor straight, a modern day masculine man. I pay all the bills, and I tells my woman the truth. Got my shit together, do what I wanna do, say what I wanna say. I won't break you, are not me, and I am not you. I kept it real, so now I can do what I wanna do. Modern masculine man. Welcome to Man School.
Welcome to the Modern Masculine Man Podcast, Mitch.
What up? What up, fam? Y'all already know what time it is tonight. Y'all seen the flyer. I'm waiting on my co-host Siobhan to get here. You know, I got to put her on blast, but she busy. You know what I'm saying? She got a daughter. She's a teacher. She's an educator. She's a singer. She teaches piano. So she's always moving and shaking. So hopefully she'll get here soon. If not, you know, I'm going to hold it down without her. Tonight's conversation, we said we were going to talk about why do black mothers and daughters fight? Why do black mothers and daughters fight? That's like a real good question because, you know, I've always said that a daughter's first bully is her mother. You know what I'm saying? I've always said that, like, a daughter's first bully is her mother. And a lot of people be like, well, why he say that? Like, my mom wasn't crazy. My mom wasn't super crazy, but my mom was like a typical, you know what I'm saying, single mother that had a hard time, you know, making ends meet for her children. Let me hit this live button on this TikTok over here, if y'all don't mind, real quick. So do we got good sound, fam? Do we got good sound? How y'all day been, man? I'm the last few times the podcast been jumping. I love it. Like I said, I don't want to get started on the subject without her because she has some very good input. She is a mother. And she has a mother, and she's willing to tell her story about, you know, what she's went through and some things that she's experiencing now raising her own daughter. So I think that's a good thing. Just to give a little overview of what made me think about this subject, I really always have seen situations where in my family, in my friend's family, just in general, I always say a daughter's first bully is her mother. It's like there's a level of protection that they provide, but there's a level of jealousy, some things that I see going on now that I always talk about on social media is the level of jealousy that daughters have toward their mother and mothers have toward their daughter. And I don't know if any black men will admit this. I have in the past when I was younger, just being real. For the most part, all the girls that I kind of dated and like hung out with over their house, their mother used to flirt with me. And their mother used to be like saying little slick shit like, well, if I was 20 years younger, or if you want my daughter's boyfriend, that's them letting me know. And I ain't gonna lie, you know, in my younger days, I done knocked off a couple of mamas, you know, and I would joke with her like, you know, your mom be flirting with me like she want to give me some pussy. And they would be like, oh, my mama flirt with all my boyfriends. And I would be like, your mama flirt with all your boyfriends. And there's just this level, like a level of love, jealousy, everything going on. And I want to wait for her to get to here. And I text her. She ain't text me back yet. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about it a little bit from my perspective as a man, watching my little sisters grow up with my mother. Like I said, my mom was a loving, caring woman. She took care of us. But there were some things that I saw her do around my sisters or say to my little sisters, you know, and sometimes it's just our culture. Come here, you little bitch. little motherfucker. You know, my mom used to call me little motherfucker a lot. Come here, you little motherfucker. Or y'all better sit y'all little asses down, little funky bitches running around here. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I associated bad with the women in my family. You know what I'm saying? Because whether you know it or not, if you really go back into your childhood and look at your childhood, me personally, I wasn't exposed to women cursing and smoking cigarettes, drinking liquor. I wasn't exposed to women like that only in my family. I didn't see other women doing that. So I'll tell you a quick story I've told before about how much we respected and revered teachers and the women outside of my family. Outside of my family, the women that I saw growing up were church women, teachers, and librarians. So I had this perception in my mind that I didn't see these women curse. I didn't see these women smoke cigarettes. I didn't see these women drink. So the women at church and the teachers were like, man, they were like, I highly revered them. So looking at my family, and I'll get into it a little bit more. I'll tell you a quick story. I never forget one of my cousins. She was like my second cousin. She was a teacher at my school, and she was a Sunday school teacher at my church. Now that I'm grown, I know this lady wasn't perfect. I know this lady was just like anybody else. I know this lady had a husband that was a Hellcat, ripping, running the streets. I know this lady had a typical life. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't perfect. But I remember I used to miss the school bus a lot because we lived on a long dirt road and we had to walk up this dirt road, right? And then sometime when it would be raining or snowing, I would miss the bus intentionally so she could pick me up. She actually worked at my elementary school. And this lady would drive by and she would pick me up. And it just so happened one day, she must have let her guard down. I never seen her do this before. And I get in the car and I'm in like first grade and she got the radio blasting. Look at all these rumors around me every day. I just need some time to get away from all these rumors. I can't take it no more. My best friend's dead. That's why I never need the girl next door. Look at all these rumors. And I sat there and watch her look at all these rumors. And she was jamming like a regular person. She was jamming. And she leaned over to me and she said, what you think, Javon? Look at all these rumors. And she jamming. And I just looked up at her. She said, what's wrong with you? And I felt tears coming down my eyes. She said, what's wrong with you, boy? What's wrong with you, little cuz? And I always called her aunt, but she, you know, I was really hurt because this was the same day I found out she wasn't my aunt. She was my cousin. She said, what's wrong with you, little cuz? I said, Auntie, I thought teachers only listen to gospel music. And boy, she like to wreck her car pulling over. The innocence of my mind, I thought teachers only listen to church music. Why? Because she was a teacher and she sang in the choir at the church and she taught Sunday school. So I was fucked up. And when you go back in your mind and you think about the images of the women that you revered growing up and the images of women that you that still scarred you, I'll never forget the images of women at the church that I grew up at. Mary Henderson. Mary Henderson, that's my homeboy Jawan's mama. She's still a good, saved, devout Christian to this day. One of the really only good, real Christians that I know that really live by the Bible. I've never seen her watch. The only thing I ever seen her watch was the movie Color Purple. That's the only secular TV I ever seen her watch. Never seen her listen to secular music. And I remember she used to be the director of the choir, but she could sing. She was a beautiful, dark black woman, long hair, had a nice little size on her, kind of remind you of the mother on the Wonder Years, the black lady. And when I tell you this lady, man, she could, this morning when I rose, y'all, I didn't have no doubt. Oh, this morning when I got out my bed, I didn't have no doubt. And she used to sing and she was so pretty and dark skinned and just so eloquent. I used to go to church like it was a fucking concert. just to see this lady sing. And I admired this lady so much in my 4, 5, 6-year-old self, maybe 4 or 5, no older than 6. I couldn't have been. I remember having such a strong crush on her. I wanted to be like her. I wanted to rock the crowd. Oh, do the thing and move my hands and everybody move. I wanted to be like her. And I'll never forget, I was at home, and this when Muscle Man was out. You know, the Muscle Man, He-Man, all the Muscle Men was out. And I'll never forget, I had my Muscle Men, I had lined them up on a couple of shoe boxes, had stacked up a couple of shoe boxes like it was a choir stand. And I had lined my Muscle Men up, and I had grabbed a pair of my mama high heel shoes, and I had put a towel on my head, and I was back that motherfucker. This morning when I rose, y'all, directing the fucking He-Man and Skeletor, sing, yeah. And I was directing the choir, and all of a sudden I felt something. Ugh. Boy, my mama kicked me in the, you know how you back in the day when there's somebody used to kick you in the back of your knee and your knee buckle? Boy, my mama kicked me in the back of my knee. She said, what the fuck is you doing? You ain't no goddamn girl. And I'm saying that to say, I'll never forget, there was a harshness to that moment, but there was a realness to this moment. Because if my mother would have been like one of these new age liberal Democrat, new age mothers, my mama would have said, what you doing, son? And I'd have said, I'm directing the choir like Mary Henderson. And then she'd have said, oh, you want to be a girl? And as a kid, I probably would have said yes. And she'd say, oh, you can be a girl. So that's something that stood out to me. She said she'll be here in 5 minutes. So I'm kind of just telling the images of women that you have growing up, how powerful it is. So the image you have of your mother, I used to call my mother my darling when I was little. I'll never forget it. I can't leave my darling. If my mama leave, I would cry. Don't leave. I want to be up under my mom. I used to sniff my mama's hair, smell my mama's hair. So the images that you have of women growing up, I'll never forget. I never liked light-skinned women growing up. I never liked them. I would have sex with them, you know. But as far as a relationship and getting serious with a woman, I never liked light-skinned women. I like darker women because of Mary Henderson. Because of my cousin that was the school teacher and the Sunday school teacher. But I remember just being in a situation where I had a light-skinned girl that I finally let my guard down, and she really liked me, and we had a good thing going. And I just was like treating her bad, you know what I'm saying? Just being honest. A lot of people don't realize how the women in their life affect how they treat women, whether you are male or female. So because the women in my family were light-skinned, high yellow, you know what I'm saying? Now, y'all see I'm not that dark, but my nickname was Blackie in my family, Po Black, because I was skinny as hell and this complexion. So, Po Black, sit your ass down, Po Black, Po Black. And so the women in my family were always beautiful, but they were so light-skinned. And so I associated smoking cigarettes, smoking reefer, drinking liquor, you know, drinking beer, fucking and cussing with light-skinned women. Straight up. I associate. So I got a little bit of the opposite, because, you know, when you watch TV and you watch movies, they always make the light-skinned woman the princess and the dark-skinned woman be the, you know what I'm saying? They got archetypes. The fat dark-skinned woman in the movie, she always married and she treat everybody nice. She Lavetta Levine and waiting to exhale. Then you got the light-skinned one. She always got more money, more educated, but she naive. You can get over on her because it's like she light-skinned, innocent. Then you got the brown-skinned one with the fat ass. She the whore. She fucking everything. Then the star is Megan Good's color. I'm joking, but I'm just being real. So it was a situation where I really treated light-skinned women bad because I had a little animosity toward the women in my family. Not that they did anything to me. It's like, I was like, light-skinned bitches think they so fine. And got this attitude and blah, blah, blah. But my aunties and my mama, they were like Drake said, they was light skinned but dark bitches. You know what I'm saying? They was light skinned but dark niggas. They didn't act like light skinned women, if that's a thing. I'm gonna have my homegirl Trey Prue come on one day. I want to talk to her about light skinned women, colorism, and how sisters interact with each other. But yeah, man, I'll never forget it. So I can remember my mother and just inherently, just y'all little bitches, come in here. Don't be shaking your little ass, little forward asses. You know what I'm saying? And as a man, as a little boy, I just was always felt a certain way to hear that. You know what I'm saying? But you know, as you grow, you grow. I remember like my female friends growing up in high school, they all fought their mama. Do y'all remember that? If you had to fight your female mother, if you're a female and you had to fight your mother, say yes. Or if you got a scuffle. I remember growing up, my grandma used to say, if that girl better get out here before she school out, because the fucking mama and the daughter couldn't get along in the same house. And it's almost like the daddy kept mama and the daughter from killing each other. So it was almost like, okay, she's 16, she's smelling herself. Time for her to get the hell out of here because her and her mama gonna be beefing. So what you have is, I think, this is just my personal opinion, and people be thinking I'm crazy. I'm a behaviorist. What you have is a situation. You ever notice, even now, my daughter won't give my wife a kiss. She'll give me a kiss easily. But every blue moon, she'll give my wife a kiss. Something in her knows I ain't supposed to kiss women. And little boys, you say, man, give me a little kiss, man. And little boy, I don't kiss boys. It's something inherent in them. So if I'm laying on the bed and my daughter come in the room and my wife is on the bed, my daughter gonna get between us. She gonna put her head on me and she gonna put her feet on my wife as if to push my wife away or just to say, this my daddy. So although we are mammals, we're animals, I think there's an inherent jealousy that a mother and a daughter has, no different than the Oedipus complex, where Oedipus Rex, there was a play about a man, Oedipus the king, Oedipus Rex. He basically fell in love with his mother, and he was in love with his mother so much he hated his father. So he ended up killing his father. And they actually have something called the Electra complex. Let me see, to make sure that in her. They actually have something called the Electra complex. That's when a little girl has a love for her father. Y'all remember the movie Eve's Bayou? That scene with Samuel Jackson and Megan Good? That's the Electra complex. So I think the daughter has like this affinity for her father and the mother hates it. Meaning, I think for the first time that mother sees that man treat somebody like she want to. Every little girl want to be treated like they had their father, especially if that woman didn't grow up with her father. And my wife has always been honest. And you know, we talked and I was like, so what is that? She was like, you know, when I see you with her, I see such a gentleness and I see such a patience and I see such a kind nurturing, like you break down for her. And she was just like, I wish I had that with you. Look, check stream, say yay, yay. Can I get a like? We got 89 people in the house. Y'all know these, when y'all like or comment, that actually makes YouTube say, hey, this nigga worth putting an ad on. This nigga got 90 people entertained. When you don't like or it's like, well, this nigga could have 90 robots watching him. So y'all hit that like button. If you're watching the stream, say yay, yay. I remember it's always a situation where that mother and that daughter, that father, if he's there, have to kind of jump in and make sure that they don't kill each other in the same house. There's a certain level of jealousy, especially when the girl get a body, when the girl hair looks a certain way. We see it manifesting in today's world, but it's the opposite. Where we see it all the time. We see mothers posing on social media, shaking their butt with their daughter. Let me call her real quick just to make sure she ain't outside or at the door. We see mothers on social media shaking their butt. Ooh, I'm twinning. What is you twinning for with your daughter for? First of all, you're not a twin. You're 25 years older than your daughter, but it's her way of showing this is how I used to look. Look at this younger, sexy version of me. We twins. And they'll go from twinning with their daughter, taking pictures in leggings, and look at the younger, sexy version of me. Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, Infamous Nero. I'm gonna type it in for you right quick. It's my name. That way everybody can come over to YouTube if they want to. Javon M. Clark, Aggressive Church. Hey, Chris. Yeah, see, I got these headphones on, but I still got to listen out for her. So what you have is a situation where there's automatically, it's like a father and a son in the house. The daddy don't test, the son don't test the father. The son don't test the father. The father let him know his whole life. This is my house, you respect me. But when that daughter get a certain age, she gonna test that mama. When that daughter get a certain age, she gonna test that mama. And mothers kind of set their daughters up for failure in the Black community because they tell them, be strong, be independent, don't depend on no man for nothing. But they see their mother chase a man their whole life. They see their mother's entire existence looking for a man. Let me text her. Call me when you get to the door. They see their mother chase a man's entire existence. And I know sometime a man, a mature woman, because when my mother got with her boyfriend, and I call him my stepdad, my sister's got his name tattooed on their body. So he really helped raise them. He really calmed my mother down. A lot of times mothers be in struggle mode. And when you in struggle survival mode, it's hard to give any nurturing to your kids. When you in struggle survival mode, your kids actually become your peer. I can recall having to babysit my little sister's twins. I'm 7 years old and my brother Derek 10. So it's like when you're struggling and you're trying to make it and trying to have a love life and niggas treating you dirty, you don't have a lot to give. So when it's time to say to your little girl and your little girl walk through the house and you up all of a sudden look up and your little girl got a shape, instead of saying, hey, put on some clothes, or, you know, you got a little shape now. And when I was young, I was fast. And, you know, I had babies early. So I will ride fortune. So I know that you got a little shape. You look like me. Boys going to be after you. Put on some clothes. I don't want you to get pregnant early. But instead of saying that, I would hear my mom or my aunts or the women around me say shit like, sit your little funky forward ass down somewhere. Don't be prancing around here in no damn man's face. I ain't having no goddamn grandbabies early. It's like, where is the compassion? Where is the conversation? Where is the, hey, I had children early. I don't want you to be like me. I want you to be better than me. And it's got to make a daughter feel a certain way, because it makes a man feel a certain way to hear that say it to a little girl. You know what I'm saying? We've had so many situations, and that's why I say, if you have my grandma used to say, once you have a female child, your love life is over. My grandma says she don't trust no man around the girl children, and barely not even the daddy. You know, I've heard stories about back in the day where older women, you know, in my family, and older women would say the daddy would try to mess with the daughters. You know what I'm saying? You got these rural country towns and there ain't no women around, and a man got 12 daughters and he got 6 brothers. And my grandma was always adamant, don't have no men around your female child and keep a fucking eye on the daddy. Now, why would my grandma say keep an eye on the daddy? Either her daddy done tried some with her, she done seen somebody's daddy try some with them, or she know that somebody's daddy or stepdaddy done tried some with her. That didn't come out of the blue. You know what I'm saying? So it's a situation where I know for a fact we animals. We animals. So when a little girl get a certain age and her body is looking a certain way and her pheromones are going off a certain way, mama see that as another woman in the house, especially if the mother's boyfriend or husband is not the father. If it's the father, it's a little relaxed. But like I said, that mother gets to see that dad break down and do everything for that daughter that she would like. I know for a fact all the things when I had my daughter, all the things that my wife would love to do that I thought was kind of like, but I will because you say, my daughter would do. My daughter would just lay on my chest, and look up and look in my eyes. And guess what? Best fucking feeling I ever had in my life. I felt the safest, most comfort, most peace I ever had in my life with my daughter just laying on my chest. So I get why women want to just lay on a man's chest or spoon. It's a certain feeling. You know what I'm saying? I get why, women having sex with a man and say, oh, daddy, or a man call a woman his mama. What's up, mama? Hey, mommy. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I was having a conversation with Doc Omalola, and the women said, oh, that's my daddy. That's my zaddy. And Omalola said a woman that grew up with a real loving, caring father would never call a man her daddy. Almost like it's disrespect, but it's almost weird. Like her father was so loving and caring and nurturing in her life. She couldn't imagine, oh, daddy. Side note, why do we do that? You know what I'm saying? As we talking about it, we could be fucking fornicating, and when shit get good, we were like, oh God. Like, I'm pretty sure God don't approve of us fucking, but we call him like, oh God, watch this shit. It says, doesn't sound like me and my daughter at all. Maybe me and my mom, except for the fight, but I didn't pass it on. I had my daughter at 25. I'm almost 56 and barely singing. Yeah, sister, that's how it is. You know what I'm saying? When you have a daughter, you got to focus your life on your daughter because, I just feel like any man that is dating a woman and he like her body and he thinks she's sexy and he think she attractive, when her daughter get a body 17, 18 and get attractive, it's just hard for me to think he not looking at her. I ain't saying he want to do something bad. It's just hard for me to think that he not looking at her. And then, like I said, just the animosity that sometimes be between a mother and her daughter. Like I said, has anybody had to fight their mother? I know we have a situation in the Black community I talked about. We got two phenomenons. A lot of Black males, teens get kicked out of the house. When you coming up with a single mother, get about 14, 15, you get kicked out of the house. And when you coming up with a Black single mother as a female, when you get about 14, 15, you and your mom have a real fight. Is anybody on the timeline willing to speak on that? As far as the men, if you were put out of the house in your teenage years by your mother, say yes. And if you've had to fight your mother, say yes. And that's one of the most amazing things for me. Like, I've had some friends in college that I went home and saw their relationship with their mom, and I was just so fucking jealous. Like, oh man, they come in the house, they hug, they fall on their mama's bed. You know what I'm saying? They call their mama every day. Like, they couldn't imagine not talking to their mother every day. So I have always wanted to be more like that. Let's see. My phone that I got lost was all good. I remember. Are you working tonight? Yes. Yeah, a lot of bullshit. She bullshitting me now. I'm fucking with y'all. But like I said, I just know there are situations in the Black community when you're struggling, when you make unplanned babies. I mean, my daughter was planned. When she was born, it was two women in the house. Hold on a second. It's her. Hello? All right, I'm coming. Hold on, y'all. I'm about to go get the door real quick. this side if you can, but maybe go through there. Just be careful with the wires.
Okay.
Smooth. We live right now. So as you can see, I've been talking to the people. You got 110 people waiting on you. That's my cousin, Chris. Boy, don't be talking about my cousin in here. That's my big cousin. He talking about his mama put him out. He putting up business. I'm fucking with him. I know Lonnie will put your ass out, boy, at any given time. In my family, your ass will get put out quick. Let's see. Let's make sure you adjust it. Go ahead.
Peace and purpose, royal queens and kings.
Here we go. Let's get it.
Peace and purpose.
Yes, peace and purpose. Beans and with friends, I said beans and disease to you, nigga.
Oh my god.
I be fucking with her sometime about her salutations and her greed. That's just me being silly. But I already got the subject going. So I was talking about, like, we're gonna discuss mothers and daughters now. I don't know how personal you want to get. You know, we had this conversation before. Why is it, do you think, and I say this all the time, a daughter's first bully is her mother? Do you agree with that, or why do you think that?
Okay, so I don't mind getting personal because that's the only way y'all are really gonna understand my perspective and why I'm coming from this standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I don't think a mother is necessarily the daughter's first bully. I do think that the mother does know the child better than anyone and has studied him or her and their traits, you know, their emotions, how they handle things. And like in my case, I wasn't raised by a mom or raised by my mother or my father. So I was raised by my grandmother. And by the time my grandmother raised me, I was child number 8 that she raised. And by the time
you mean your mother had 8 children, or you was just the 8th child that your grandmother had raised?
Yes, my grandmother raised 6 of her own.
Okay.
And then she raised my brother and I. So basically, I was the last child, and I felt like I always had to be the best. I got to do everything right. I have to show my grandmother that her labor and her experience and her years and her efforts weren't in vain.
Yeah.
So with me doing that, I kind of became like this overachieving mother. So my standpoint is like, yes, you could do anything. Let's do this. You know, I have a different approach to mothering. It's a little bit different from other people, especially of our ethnicity. And it's like, even my daughter, she's going to start doing theater Thursdays because she wants to be a comedian. By the way, I think you should get some students. I think you should get some
we'll talk
artistic
about
improvisation children, some students that want to take some improvisational classes. But anyway, so basically, in regards to my situation with my mom and how I am with my daughter, it's a completely like polar opposite situation. So I want my daughter to win. I don't like when she goes other places and she gets experiences that are against who she is and against our lifestyle and against our diet and just against things that we truly stand for, that I'm trying to raise her in consciously and to show her to be very aware of who she is first and foremost. And of course, she's becoming herself, you know, so with the human development process, we have to be patient and all of those great things, but also we have studied the child, we carried the child. So we have a certain connection with the child, which is why we know their cries, you know, we know their mannerisms, we know their laughs, so many things ever since they were children. So for me, I don't bully my daughter. My daughter, she said online the other day that I'm not this Black mama. She was like, you know, you're not this black mama that's just going to beat my tail. She's like,
Yeah.
you're a gentle parent. You do things like this. You'll tell me I can't have screen time for 30 days, which y'all, that's better than whooping them. Okay. Just don't give them the screen. It's better.
So let me ask you this, because
Yes. You know me. I'll go.
yeah, you talking my goddamn head off.
Don't
So
start.
what I'm saying is, if you're like that with your daughter,
Yes.
there's got to be a reason. So
Yes.
why are you so like that with your daughter? What type of relationship did you and your mom have?
Okay, so I'm the way that I am with my daughter, and I am naturally a person that is an overlover. I have very intense love, like extremely intense. So I don't like to admit this, but it's just the honest truth. My mom is I would love to say that she's a recovering drug addict, but she is still currently in that space. And ever since I was younger, I have had a disconnect with my mom. I love her, and I think that she's an amazing person. She's a great singer. She's brilliant. She's beautiful. I'm so thankful. But my mom has this. I know you don't like this word, but she has this trigger in her. Like it's like a switch where she turns into a different person. And when you are naturally, of course, under the influence of something, you're going to be somebody else.
Yeah.
So my whole life, I've kind of understood that I wouldn't say a demon in them. The church always says they got a demon in them. They addicted. They out here on that stuff. But no, some people really could have had a wonderful life like my mom did.
So let me ask you something. Have you ever had to fight your mother?
Unfortunately, yes.
Set us up. What? And like I said, because if you grew up with your grandmother, I'm pretty sure you ain't fight your mother at 7 years old.
Oh, no.
So if you grew up with your grandmother, why would you be fighting your mother? Like, what situation did she come in? Yeah, explain and set that up for it as quick as you can.
Okay, so basically, when I was in college, I also was like a caregiver to my younger siblings. And I have 4 younger siblings. My sisters, one of them was 15, the other one was like 13. And my younger brother was like 17. And my other brother was maybe 16. So basically, my younger siblings are like step by step. And they were going through a lot of things with my mom being on drugs and with her wrecking cars, with her being with different men in the community. And I love her with all my heart, but it wasn't good. Like, I wish my siblings would have lived with us, but my grandmother couldn't take in everybody.
Yeah.
So basically,
so your brothers were still living with your mom while you lived with your grandmother.
Yes.
Okay.
My brothers and my sisters, and my older brother and I live with my grandma. And the goal was for my mother to be able to go to college and get her bachelor's degree in nursing to be an RN. So basically that didn't happen. My mom got with a man that, and this is why I understand trauma, but my mom got with a man that abused her, that verbally and physically abused her. Also, he convinced her to get on drugs and convinced her to create children while using. So basically, I've always loved my mom, but in regards to rehab and really trying to get her to get off drugs, I was kind of mad that I couldn't get her off drugs because I feel like I'm a supernatural kind of person.
So you can get a motherfucker off drugs.
Oh yeah, and I did.
That ain't.
I got my uncle off.
Yeah. He got off
drugs.
He got himself off drugs.
He told me every day. I went to his Narcotics Anonymous meetings.
You inspired him.
Yes.
But let me ask you this: the fight.
Okay, so let me tell you. This is why I have to tell y'all a little bit so you understand the fight. Okay. And he knows I'm a teacher, so I can't leave out details.
I be trying to teach her and show her, you got 111 motherfuckers that could be watching Beyonce right now, Kevin Hart. They could be watching anybody, and they watching little old us. So you don't want to take too much motherfucking time. You want to tell them the story. We teaching, but we entertaining too. They want to know what happened with the fight.
Okay, so I had to explain that to y'all for y'all to understand the fight. So here we are now. So basically, I was in college and I got a phone call. I was taking midterms. I was in my music history class. I was a music education major in college. And I got a call from my younger sister. And she was like, Siobhan, mommy has lashed out. She was like, I'm in the hospital right now. They told me I have to get 15 stitches in my head. So for me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not there to protect my sisters. I'm in college. Like, my mom is really fucking wilding.
So she jumped on your sister.
Yes.
And cut her up, hit her with a bottle or something?
She hit her with a metal bat repeatedly
God damn.
in the head. And she got 14 stitches, 14 to 15 stitches. So basically, I told my professor, and I was on scholarship, and I was like, listen, I have to go right now. I was like, I do apologize. I will make it up. I can do it tomorrow. I will be right back. But I'm really in a situation where I'm pretty much power of attorney over my siblings because my mom is like crazy. She's, unfortunately on drugs. So basically, I got to the hospital. It normally takes me like 45 minutes to get to Henderson from Durham.
See how you adding details in here?
So it took me, I have to say this, it took me 30 minutes to get there. And so y'all know I was speeding. I was going like 100. So I get there, I get to the hospital, and my sister's like, yeah, Siobhan, it's going to take me 2 hours to be discharged. Mommy is at the house right now. She's really scared. She thinks you're going to call social services, all of this stuff. So I was like, she's where? And they were like, well, my sister was like, she's at home. So I told him, I was like, how long is my sister going to have to be here? And is there anything I can do? I was like, Ty, do you want some food? Do you want me to get you something? So I got her something. And then they were like, yeah, another 2 hours. So I was like, Ty, I'm sorry, but I got to go and talk to our mom. So Ty was like, oh no, you about to fight. And I was like, no, I'm not going to fight. As long as she doesn't touch me, I'll be fine. I said, but if she touches me, I don't know. So basically, I got to my mother's house, and I was like, I just need you to tell me what happened. Taya told me, but I need you to really tell me because I had to make some arrangements. So basically, my mom was like, hi. She was messed up, like out of her mind. She fell asleep driving. She was already just high, just crazy. So she said my sister didn't do her chores or she didn't do something, and she had the bet, and she just wailed on her.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm like, what could be that bad that makes you wail on your daughter that has already been taken in state custody, has already really gone through a lot of things under your leadership?
Yeah.
And so basically, my mom was like, Siobhan, like, don't walk any closer to me. I was like, listen, I'm just trying to talk to you. But my family knows, like, I'm a kind person, but I do have a boiling point. And I had gotten there. I love my siblings. Like, I already hate the fact that I wasn't raised with them. So for them to move from New Jersey to North Carolina meant a lot to me. And I felt like I had to protect them. So my mom was like, don't get any closer. I'm about to call the police. So she calls the police. And I was like, trying to knock the phone out of her hand. So as I'm knocking the phone out of her hand, she's trying to hit me.
So you started it?
Yes.
Okay.
So as I'm knocking the phone out of her hand, because I'm like, I'm in college. You can't call the cops, girl. I ain't even hit you. We ain't even fight. Like, what you doing? So I'm like, girl, get off the phone. So pretty much I knock the phone out of her hand and she punches me. And then as she's punching me, she says, I hope pretty much I'm going to punch you in your ear. And if I burst your eardrum, you can't sing, you can't perform music.
Now, this is what I want to talk about. This is what you people, men got 1,000 words. Women have 10,000 fucking words. 9,000 of them are useless.
Here we go.
Pointless. Now, let me tell you what I mean. Now, I'm joking with her, but we're going to do a show together, so I got to get this out. You can come home from work and you can ask a woman, what's for dinner? What's for dinner? You ask a man, what's for dinner? Chicken. You ask a woman, what's for dinner? Well, I was going to get beef, but I went down to the market and beef went on sale and they had some steaks, but they won't look right. So I didn't get it. Then I thought about getting some shrimp. I went over to the seafood market and you're telling me everything but what the fuck I want to know. I want to know, how did you and your mom get in a fucking fight? When we started off in college and I was in college, like I told my professor, get to the story. So now that we got to the story, you hit your mom for beating up your sister. The question I have to ask, why do you think, in your personal opinion, why does she say, I hope I bust your eardrum so you can't sing? Why does she go to the fucking very thing that she know you love the most? Where does the fuck does this evil come from in women?
So let me explain that. This has been my whole life. So I'm classically trained in piano and voice, all that good stuff. But my mom in the 80s went on Star Search. Like, my mom was a great singer. She's awesome. But my mom was drinking alcohol like early, smoking weed, like hanging out with guys, jumping out of windows, doing all of that. young. So like she really didn't listen to my grandma or follow her upbringing. And I did. And that bothered my mom. Like I did everything spiritually correct. So like when Javon is like, yeah, I'm this masculine modern man. Yeah, like I see why he says that, because he's like, I did everything righteously in the right order, ethically, based off of what I saw around me. And I was able to make different choices. So I did the same thing, but that really bothers my mom because I am the singer. I am the one that got married. I have been proposed to 3 times.
So she's jealous of you.
Yes. I do own a school. I am a great mom for my daughter. I do help with my siblings and with my mom.
So let me ask you something. Let's just be real, because you my home girl.
Yeah.
When you talk about your daughter and what she's going to do, all I see is a carbon copy of you. Like everything you say she's going to do, it's like, okay, we know that in a household, a mother can make a child gay. They can make a child want to be a boy or girl. So I've met your daughter. Now, I'm going to say what I think. Now, let me ask you this. Do people in your family say your daughter going to be a handful?
Yes, of course.
Okay, well, what they mean? Let's be real. What do they mean? When they say your daughter gonna be a handful, what do they mean? And have I not told you, you're gonna have to fight that little joker one day. Like, and she's the sweetest little girl. But why would you say, now you know black people, why would people tell you your daughter gonna be a handful and she's so smart and this, that, and the other, going to private school, homeschool? What is it that they what is it that why do you think they're hating? Because I think she's gonna be a handful, me personally. And do you think it's them hating, or why do you think people think your daughter gonna be a handful?
I would love to happily answer that and wait until you hear this response.
Go ahead.
So basically, my daughter is going to be a handful because she is not raised traditionally. My daughter is not raised based off of the public school system, the way that most of us were raised, the way that they were raised, the way that I was raised. So my daughter has a very free spirit.
Smart mouth, would you say that? Because what do free spirit mean? Because you got to talk real to the people.
So my daughter is very outspoken. My daughter will speak on tragedy. She will speak on triumphs. She is a comedian, and certain things are very comedic in her mind, and I allow her to have a free space to express herself.
Do you think you're going to have to fight her one day?
I don't.
Okay.
Let me tell you why. So now that I've been doing this no screen time, y'all, this thing been working real good. Okay. So basically, I was already taking screen time away, but if you take away screen time as well as dessert, and also only allow them to use their phones to document positive content of them creating. Like, y'all, I don't have to whoop my daughter. If I tell her something, like one time, it's to the point where she'll be like, y'all, we can't get out the car yet. My mom didn't open the door. We can't get out until my mom unlocks the door. And all her friends are like, okay, Imani, like, chill. And she's like, no, like, for safety purposes, my mom will flip. Like, we have to do this. So, and it's not that I would flip. It's just, I'm like, hold on, y'all. I don't want y'all to get out the car and then something happens to y'all and I'm still inside the car.
So outside of you and your daughter,
yes,
this phenomenon in the black community of daughters having to fight mothers, like I said,
yes,
you said that your mom was like, she hoped she bust your eardrums.
Yes.
So what is it about the gifts that mothers pass down genetically that they be kind of jealous of? If a mother got a nice body and the daughter get the body, or the daughter get the voice, or the daughter get the looks, you know what I'm saying? Or the daughter get the hair from her. What is it? Do you think there's a certain jealousy or animosity or enmity? Like, what do you think, like, about this subject? Or do you think this is just something I'm making up? Like,
no, definitely not. So,
but give your take on it. What do you think it is? Because I've always thought when a man ain't there, like if your father wasn't there, a father keeps a mother off the children. You like, even with my wife and my stepsons, I would have to tell her, hey, this ain't the fucking time to be fussing. You fussing because you angry and frustrated. You're not trying to discipline. So I had to teach my wife, you discipline. Let me say how I always say. I used to say you instruct ignorance,
right?
But you discipline rebellion. So there were times where they just kids doing ignorant shit, spilling shit, or throwing their food. I'm like, they kids, goddamn, that's ignorance. You don't fuss and yell and whoop their ass for that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you tell them stop throwing your food across the table and they get a certain age, now you know they disobeying, they being disobedient. So I
Right.
say you discipline disobedience, but you instruct ignorance. So why do you think that is like that when you say that there is a phenomenon in the community with Black mothers and Black daughters? Because I ask this question all the time. Who is the hardest person on this earth for you to talk to?
Mm-hmm.
And for men and women alike, it always be my mama.
Well, I'm going to be honest. In my situation, even with my mom, like I tried to build a amazing bond with her. Like even when my other family members would be talking about her and she lived in New Jersey and I'm here, I would try to defend her. But it's just, maybe it's my kindness. Maybe it's like some women are just mean girls and we just got to understand. And when I say mean girls, I mean, they have really endured a certain level of trauma when they were children. So they're still these girls and then they're mean about it because it's like, you know, they have a choice to transcend their trauma or to actually stay the same.
So do you think the meanness is like a defense mechanism?
Yes, it is.
Because I've seen women, it's a lady at my job. She used to be real big. I could tell because she got a lot of extra skin and shit.
Mhm.
And she is like almost like excited to say some mean shit.
Yeah. And
It's like you said, the trauma that they've been through. And I used to kind of be like, man, fuck that. You just mean. But it's almost like after that show Mean Girls came out, it's almost like to be mean is like a thing.
Yeah.
You know? It's almost like sexy. It's like, I'm mean, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So that's what's been my problem too. Like, I'll curse out the bully. Like I've always been that person where it's like, you know, how dare you think that you are above anybody else to come at them in this way? And my mom is that bully.
Mm.
Like when it comes to my siblings, kind of like getting us to go against each other. When it comes to her brothers, getting them to sometimes go against one brother or the other, or being in a good standing with my grandmother. Like, oh, well, I'm doing this for mom versus you all. So it's just.
Why is that too? Like you're saying some things, and I like to ask you certain things because you know you be going back into the trauma and the African DNA and shit. What is it about that? Like literally, no, I'm serious. I used to watch my grandmother, like as she used to call it, play Who Shot John.
Mm-hmm.
It's like talk about the daughters that live down here that's taking you to the hospital and shooting insulin in your body, literally caring for you.
Exactly.
And make them feel less than the daughters that lived up top
with the money that are in charge of the acres and the land that might be power of attorney.
Is it just survival, like playing to the ones that you think you can get more from? I'll never forget, before my mom died, my brother Derek called me and he was just upset. And, you know, I was just like, what's going on with you? And he was like, well, mama said we needed to reconnect. And I was like, what the fuck is mama talking about? I ain't had nothing against you, man. And it's almost like as she was leaving this world, she was doing that same shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And instead of, okay, like maybe it's because I only have one child, but y'all, I'm obsessed with my daughter. And yes, like what you were also saying, your daughter is a carbon copy. Not exactly, because she does theater and I do music.
But she does music too.
She does. She's a beast. She's amazing. But basically, I was the one that focused in like piano and voice. Imani focuses on like theater. She does a lot of martial arts. She does a lot of singing. She does a lot of visual art. Like she.
Somebody asked, how old are you?
I'm 36.
How old is your daughter?
She's 11.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So I had Imani when I was 25, but and I was married when I was 23,
mm-hmm.
and I graduated college at 22. But anyway, basically, with my process, meaning like how I grew up with my mom, and the bond that I wanted with her, I don't have that. But
mm-hmm.
Imani is not me. Like this
mm-hmm.
is what I often tell people. I know my purposes. I know hers too.
Yeah.
She knows hers as well. But my purpose was based off of struggle. I had to show I'm from Warren County. I don't have parents. I discovered my dad at 12. you can have a raw talent.
Mhm.
You can be exposed to something one time and it'll change your entire life. Like I'm pretty sure when Javon, I'm pretty sure he did theater play when he was young.
Yeah, I did theater in high
Yeah.
school. I won the storytelling contest every year
I
up
bet
into the
your
8th
ass
grade.
did.
Yeah, straight up. So, and so y'all know we went to the same high school. I'm just a little older than her, only by what
10 years,
11 years, 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
So I just never forget the first time I ever heard myself be called a bitch or a motherfucker. It was by my mom and the women in my family. And I don't think they were being mean. It's just that that's how they talked. You know what I'm saying?
And it probably wasn't any other men around for them to get this out with.
And you know what? Let me see. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Mhm.
Yo, as I think back, and I say this all the time, and this is where people think I'm biased or sexist, but I think the writers of the Bible, there's some knowledge in the Bible. Women are just fucking evil. Men are better people than women. I don't care how you cut that shit up. Men are better people than women. And I'm going to tell you why I think this. Men can assert themselves more than women. So women have to be sneaky. They have to be cunning. Like, for example, it's called dissemination. In nature, the weaker vessel always comes up with a cunning way. Like a skunk, for example. Over time, a skunk so scared he piss on itself. So over time, his piss got so stinking, his fear became what? A weapon.
Mhm.
A chameleon gets so fucking scared he stands still. All of a sudden, the motherfucker changed colors. Its weakness became a weapon. And I think that's what happens with women, because women are the weaker vessel. Women can't just take shit. Women have to be cunning. Women have to manipulate. Like right now, when I say manipulate, what's stopping me from just taking you? The only thing that you would have to call the police to stop a man from taking you.
Yeah.
You get the point I'm making.
For sure.
So if I start looking at you a certain way in this room and it's just me and you,
Mhm.
you're going to have to talk your way out of this shit.
Right.
You're going to have to, you're not going to be able to physically get your way out of this shit.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, yeah, I know you know karate too, but
I'm-
but you come on now.
Pressure point.
But you get the point. You get
Yes,
the point.
I do.
For most
So-
women.
So I need to be able to speak on this.
Go ahead.
Okay. First of all, because I'm the right one, y'all. I'm the right one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Evil.
So, no, actually, I'm actually evolved. There's a
Yeah.
difference. Okay. You have the evil and you have the evolved. The ones that are on a path of evolution where we know that it is trauma, that there are generational curses that make women upset, that make women upset with the fact that buck breaking is still very apparent today. And a lot of women are in situations where, I hate to say this, but if it wasn't for being created out of wedlock, I wouldn't be here. So I'm very thankful.
Yeah.
And a
I'm
lot
a
of-
bastard too, y'all. I'm a bastard.
Javon,
What the fuck is the word, Siobhan? That's we bastards.
don't say that.
What's up, my bastard?
Oh my gosh. No, we're not no bastards. We are brilliant vessels that were sent here to make this world a better place, regardless
Mm-hmm.
of how we came about being.
Yeah.
Okay. Whoop your ass. Okay. So basically, this is just how, I feel in regards to mothers. Mothers are so heartbroken by the fact that they had to provide and they had to protect. So Javon and I, we often talk about the fact that he's always saying, Javon, well, after Willie Lynch, we were still able to have the Black Wall Street. So if we could have it then, what the hell is stopping us now? Exactly. And I agree completely with that part.
Yeah.
However, okay. In 1706, this is when King James Version of the Bible was created. In 1712, the Willie Lynch theory was created and enforced. So 6 years later, after the largest, the most popular version of the Bible is the King James Version.
Mm-hmm.
So King James is Willie Lynch. If you think about the Council of Nicaea and the Jesus Seminars, when you give a woman a religion and she is used to matriarchy,
Mm-hmm.
and we go through slavery and it's nothing but patriarchy, there is no woman balance. There is no woman choice. The woman is just an object. You are here for sex. You are here to bear children. The slaves do everything else. But guess what, y'all? We don't have slaves to do everything else for us. We're not them. So we, as Black women, products and ascendants of our ancestors. We have to be in a place where we provide, we protect, we teach, we nurture, we love, we progress, we prosper, we unite, we teach spirituality. So we have to teach a level of oneness.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like when you have really gone and endured all of this and matriarchy no longer exists.
Sound like you're saying you're born evil.
No.
That's what I'm hearing. We done been through so much shit. We born evil. This is the question I have. And the
I'm
reason,
about to listen.
that's what you said.
Not what I'm saying.
You said we done been through so much trauma that is we born. You brought up slavery.
No,
we born
you didn't let me
evil.
finish.
I'm fucking with you.
I was
Go
going to
ahead.
get to the best part, and you know what I'm going to say?
Okay, go ahead.
What was the solution from last week when you said, Siobhan, what is the solution to this? A rites of passage. So the real reason why we are out of alignment in regards to matriarchy and divine feminine energy is because we're not having rites of passages where mother and daughter get close, where mom says, hey, daughter, 2 years before she has her cycle, 3 years before, at the age of 8 minimum, hey, you're going to be a woman. And by the time that you have a moon cycle for the first time, by the time that your body naturally bleeds, you need to know your purpose. You need to know why you are created, and you need to know that you are sacred. And this is what you absolutely cannot do.
Let me ask you something, because what you're saying makes so much sense. But I have a theory. When a woman have to do this, and it's really what you're saying. When a woman have to do this shit by herself, she ain't got nothing left.
Yeah.
She ain't got no love. She ain't got nothing. She ain't got nothing to give. I can imagine how it feels to be with a man, right?
Mm-hmm.
To be with a man, and you get pregnant by this man. It's an unplanned pregnancy. It's unwanted. You decide to keep this child, and it don't go right with the man. Now you're left with a child, a whole life. And now you got to do something that's outside of what I believe your purpose is. I don't necessarily believe women's supposed to be out working 8 hours a day. Shit like
Right.
that.
They're supposed to be teaching the children because they're the primary teachers.
So when a woman is in survival mode and she's struggling to make ends meet, and she come home, I don't think she really got nothing left for the kids to give. Like, I literally used to grow up, and I'm not personalizing everything, but I just see it. I never heard a man in my family cuss at the children.
Mm-hmm.
Only the women do that. I never seen a man in my family dance inappropriately around the children.
Right.
Only the women do that.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen a man in my family put a motherfucking light bill in his son's name. It's so many things that women do. Like, for example, let's just be real. There's an old, it's not even an old African proverb. It was an old African. I think it was Bishop Desmond Tutu said it. He was like, don't try to please a woman, because God can't even please a woman. Women will change their eyes, their nose, their ears, push their breasts up. Like, women don't be happy with themselves. I heard a joke. It was a guy told a joke. He said Adam and Eve was in the garden, and Adam went to Eve and said, hey, Eve, look around. We live in paradise. Whatever we have, we want. Man, we naming all the animals. We eat what we want. We do what we want to do. Ain't this great? And Eve said, yeah, it's just not quite enough.
Excuse me.
It's just not quite enough. There's a certain level of when we look around in our community, and I'm trying to figure out, where does this vitriol come from with mothers and daughters? I ask women all the time, who is the hardest person on the world you could speak to? Who the hardest person on the earth for you to have a conversation with?
My mom.
Why though? That's your mom.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to be honest. She's second. It's my ex-husband.
Okay.
My ex-husband. For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And this is the thing too, like with my mom, she wants to talk to me. Like, she'll do something like really awful. And if I block her, she'll be like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, hey, like, I can't act like this is okay. This is traumatizing for me. I'm trying to protect my peace. Like, I have to talk to her like this. I have to tell her, when I was younger, I didn't have a choice, and I tried. And now as an adult, I've tried many times, but I can't make you understand that you have more purpose in you than to waste.
So how do you tell her that? So you just say, look, mom, I don't want to hear that shit. Or like you say, hey, mom, I'm trying to protect my peace. Like because what we have to understand is in our community, I got a saying, if you can't say nothing about nobody's mama and everybody's somebody's mama, then you can't say nothing about women in general.
Mm-hmm.
How do you protect your peace? Because I'm going to be honest with me and my situation. I love my mama. My mama dead and gone. My mama put me out when I was maybe 14, but I moved next door to my aunt's house. You've seen our family land.
Mm-hmm.
We got land. I'm right next door. And it's like, what was my point? I moved next door. Yeah. I just stayed away.
Mm-hmm.
How do you continue to have a relationship with you? Because we're taught if you can't say something good, don't say none at all. So I couldn't fathom telling my mama, I'm trying to protect my peace. That's why I ain't come home. Sometimes it might be Mother's Day and my little sisters be like, you coming home? Or da 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 da. And my sisters was always adamant about all my mom's 6 kids being around for holidays to get a picture and whatnot. And it would be like I could go home and my mom would talk about my aunt that took me in when she put me out.
Yeah, that's what mom would do.
And I just couldn't fucking sit there and listen at that shit. So after I say a couple of times, hey, mom, every time I come home, mom, you're telling me everybody's business.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like my mom was like the matriarch of the family. That's something I want to challenge you on. In the Black family, the mother has always big mama, the matriarch.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't a patriarchal people.
I know that.
But you was talking about the patriarch earlier.
Yes, because America, as well as slavery, is based off of the patriarchal figure, the male. But then during slavery, the mother was elevated. They beat the man to shit, like you say. And the Willie Lynch letters was written by a man in Durham in the 70s. He theorized that. I actually met him. He said it was a theory. Willie Lynch is not a real person. Yeah, it's
that's why
theory.
He called him Willie Lynch. But my thing is this: when it's all said and done, do you think there's ever going to be a time where you and your mom? Because I ain't saying y'all got static now. I have been around you and seemed like I was like, God damn, we got business to handle. You talking to your mom like 30 fucking minutes. It seemed like y'all was like bosom buddies.
Yeah.
So
because this is the thing. When you are using, sometimes you go in and out. So like if you have a lot, I'm telling the truth.
I got you. I got you.
When you're in your right frame of mind and you can't get a lot, you might be able to come back to your normal self. Like you might be a cool ass person. But when you get on that stuff, when you get on that stuff, it may make you mean. It may take you back to your trauma. It may make you lash out on the people that really love you more than anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Like you just never know what it's going to make you do. So, like in a lot of situations, I also look at, like in my situation too, with my siblings, they'll be like, Siobhan, are you going to be home this weekend? Or Mother's Day is coming up and mommy wants us all to be together.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, are you going to be here? And I'm like, I was going to go to Florida with me, Monty. We were going to go to a resort and just have our time with just me and my baby so that I can build these moments with her. But then they're like, me, mom, meaning my actual family's matriarch, my mother's mom that raised me, would like this, but they don't realize I live right next door to my grandma. I know exactly what she wants.
Yeah.
And my grandmother would prefer to actually go out to eat somewhere and have all of us there so that we don't have to worry about the after effect.
So that dynamic right there. Question. When I was married and trying to start my own traditions, I noticed even with my grandmother, when the matriarch in the family is health is bad, everybody come huddle around her for holidays. Like all my aunts, everybody come down to the family house and they huddle around the person. And it's almost like a guilt that you feel because I know when my grandmother passed, from a child's point of view, I was 13, 14, it seemed like the family got closer. And then when my mama passed, it seemed like our siblings got closer. It's like this figure that's, don't get me wrong, that'll let you move in,
Mm-hmm.
that'll take anybody in,
Yep.
that'll give you the shirt off their back. But it's like this figure in the center that's fucking everything up. You know what I'm saying? It's like you see situations where when my mom was on dialysis before she passed. So if a holiday was coming up, won't nobody going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
Since my mom passed, me and my sisters and brothers have been to Miami. We done been to the beach. We talking about going on a cruise. It's like you have to huddle around this person that's the center of misery and corruption. You know what I'm saying? But their love is there.
Yeah.
But it's like an ascribed thing. It's like, well, she was Big Mama. You her oldest daughter. Now you Big Mama. Now you Big Mama. You know what I'm saying?
But in my family, I hate to say this, when you have a parent that might be on drugs or might be an alcoholic, the family has already looked at them years ago and deemed them, I hate to say it, but like they're not running it. You can't leave the family reunion decisions up to them. You can't leave being the mediator or the peacemaker up to them. Like, hell no. So basically, I've already been asked, like, Siobhan, you know how your mama is. It's in one of those situations like, if we go to the reunion, to a family reunion in Atlanta with our uppity cousins up north, or our, I love y'all. I know y'all gonna be on my page. I know y'all gonna watch this. But basically my other cousins up north, they'll be like, Siobhan, here, go get your mama. Your mama drunk again. Your mama outside. Get her ass up off the ground. What the hell is she doing? So I'm always like, Mommy, what the hell you doing? Come on. Like, I'm really like my mom's sister, but it's like,
do you feel embarrassed by that?
No, I don't.
Okay.
You know why? Because this is my story. Like, everybody looks at me like, wow, Siobhan, she's so perfect. She did this, but it's like, you don't know why I did this. Like, I came from a lot of trauma.
So you basically tried to overachieve because you felt like your mom was underachieving.
I felt like she let my grandma down. And I felt like my grandmother raised me and my brother to give my mom a better life. And my mom, she didn't do her part. And I think that makes my grandmother sad. And for me, I feel like I have to do what my mom didn't do. But it's okay because I'm this way anyway. Like, this is just who I am as a person.
I remember growing up and my mom was always pretty. My mom was super beautiful. Awesome. So I would always want my mom to have to come to the school. And because I was poor, you know what I'm saying? So I would get in trouble. So my mom would have to come down to the school and hear everybody say how pretty your mama was. Because I had a couple of friends whose mama they got teased because their mama was ugly.
Gotcha.
And they mamas weren't ugly now that I'm a grown man. But as kids, they mamas was ugly. So I was just wondering, would that embarrass? I never had to deal with my mama being on drugs or, my mom always had a decent job. She always took care of us. None of us been locked up, fucked up, no shit like that. So I was just wondering how that feel, like. So
I will speak on one part that is embarrassing. So basically my mom is gorgeous too. Like all of my siblings, we all are just beautiful. Everybody.
You're not pretty, Siobhan.
Whatever.
I'm fucking with
whatever. But basically, my mom is gorgeous. She speaks very well. She is brilliant. She has an amazing gift for gab. But she is also like very comedic. She's hilarious. She's very crazy. And so like she just has it. She just has the pizzazz. Like Javon has, like I do. Mom, I'm pretty sure his mom had it too. So basically for women like this, they could get whatever they want.
I call it the Suge Avery factor. No, seriously, I call it. I've been attracted to women that have that Suge Avery thing going on about them. Suge Avery was fine. Suge Avery, people look at Suge like she was a whore. Suge was just misunderstood.
She was.
That thing that stand out about a woman, that regardless about her, is something that stand out about her that she gonna garner some attention. I call it. My mom was like that. Couple of things I want to tune into before we go, because I want to piggyback and curtail this conversation. It was something I was thinking about. Go ahead.
So the thing that I was saying that's embarrassing, meaning like, my mom, she looks just like me. And like when people see her, they're like, oh wow, like you look just like your daughter.
Yeah.
But then when they actually hear me speak and they hear my life mission, they're like, oh, like your daughter, like she
So your daughter ain't ratchet.
right. And they're like, she's not a strumpet. What?
Yeah.
So it's
Well, I ain't heard that word in so long.
Yeah.
Strumpet.
yeah, me and my grandma, you know I'm old. I talk with her almost every day.
Ooh,
So,
that's worse than being trifling.
a strumpet, okay.
You know, it's certain things that old people say that as a kid, I felt like I'd rather hear you curse, Grandma.
right.
Grandma be like, she's screwing. I'd be like, damn, Grandma said fucking screwing. Screwing sound worse than
Yep.
she's trifling.
Yep.
Stragglers.
That'd be like,
You know
that
what I'm
man
saying?
is mannish. He is forward.
Yeah, yeah. Well, girls were forward,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in men's face, and
Yeah.
boys were managed.
Mannish.
But they didn't say forward. They said sit your
Forward.
forward ass down.
Forward.
Like,
Yep.
but I realized it's forward
forward.
now that I'm adult. Or my
Mhm.
grandma used to say that boy distracted.
Yeah. Distracted.
I didn't realize that. till
Or
I
when
was
they say
40 years
afflicted, what is that?
Conflicted.
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 Right?
He conflicted.
You know?
That boy afflicted.
Yes.
And
exactly.
I used to get called distracted.
But your ass
and
is afflicted.
afflicted.
Yes.
That was my number because it's almost like if you smart and you ain't got common sense. I was reading the encyclopedia. My grandma like, but you can't open the goddamn can, you afflicted ass. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, Grandma, you got a fucking left-handed can opener, and I'm right-handed. I don't realize this. Put it in your other goddamn hand. And I'm sitting there like trying to turn this bitch with my left hand. Goddamn, get out of the way, boy. You're afflicted, distracted. And in my family, if you could do regular shit, they say that boy's smart. Like my brother Derek, I was book smart, but he could crank up the lawnmower or some shit at an early age.
Right.
Oh, that boy Derek, he's so damn smart. I used to be back. That motherfucker ain't smart. He's strong. He cranked the fucking lawnmower. I'm too little to pull that shit.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I want to piggyback off this conversation. We're going to talk about it more. We're going to get you a time clock. I'm going to get you one of them things off of Star Trek. Hey, y'all, look, I got to fuck with it. I said, what time you want to start the show? She said, 9 is fine. 9 is fine. I said, you sure you want to do it here or you want to do it virtually? Oh, 9 is fine. Let's do it here. I said, well, look, Siobhan, I'm going to say 9:30. What time you get here?
About 9:50, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, we gonna get this together. But this is my friend, good friend. I think she has a lot to bring to the table. I always tell her, even when we have a conversation on the phone, she be like, "I know you're ready to get off the phone." I be like, "Hell yeah, my head hanging by a string." You know what I'm saying?
Whatever.
She's wise, but she gonna tell you the whole story. We was gonna have beef. The beef was too high. Seafood was smelling funny, you know. Then I went up to the spot. I had found some different type of turkey and stuff. And after 5 minutes, what the fuck is we eating? So I end up getting chicken.
I wouldn't be that complex.
Yeah, I just know I can recall. I had a conversation with my mother before she passed, and I'm so good. When you hear a person's perspective, I said, Mama, you know, I was so sad. You know, you used to let men beat on you. My mama said, nigga, I won half them fights.
Most of them
So
probably.
like I was tired. I was like, oh shit. Here I am thinking my mama is a victim of fucking domestic violence. And I've seen her whoop niggas' ass and stab niggas. So
Yeah.
I'm looking at it like, damn, look what you let yourself go through. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna get out of here. But yeah, we gonna talk about this again, and we're gonna get deeper in the conversation because I want to have the great debate with you of who is a more moral entity, men or women.
No, well, listen, the Most High already chose who the moral entity is. The last time I checked, this is gonna just seal the deal. We're gonna be done after this, y'all. So, Javon, the last time I checked, a man's diet should be proper for 30 days before he conceives a child. Okay, his mental diet in regards to what he takes in his mind, his ears, his eyes.
Here comes some Dr. Sebi bullshit, y'all.
It's
Go
not.
ahead.
I'm gonna whoop his ass, y'all. Don't worry, I'm gonna get Chris. We gonna whoop his ass.
Go ahead. Give it to me.
We gonna whoop his ass.
Because niggas can make babies off pork rinds and ice house.
Don't do this shit. Don't do that. Don't
Go
do
ahead.
it.
Go ahead.
Don't make the baby that way.
Yeah.
So basically, y'all, That's all a man has to do. Is just have his diet right for the 30 days before conceiving the baby to make sure that the baby is at its ultimate peak, its ultimate health for human development to prosper, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but us, you see us, we got to carry the baby after they insert their DNA. So we have to do this for 9 months where they can drink some beer and have some pork rinds if they choose to.
I think that was God saying, sit your ass down somewhere now.
Exactly. Sit
And
your
have
ass
this
down.
baby. Or even when you look at nature, me and Al Pacino just had a baby at 89. Women at 50, God says, sit your ass down somewhere and become an elder and teach somebody. That pussy don't need to work no longer because you've been out here flaunting that pussy around your whole life. Now you 50, hot flashes come on you, you hot, your hair fall out. Sit your goddamn ass down somewhere and become an elder. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Be a nice empress. Exactly. So I understand. However, we can carry a lot of
we're gonna
babies
have
with egg count. We can carry a lot of children. Like you can really conceive every 9 months.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just give
We're
yourself
gonna
a
have this
break.
conversation. I think women are manipulative and evil. I think women ultimately are the gatekeepers to love. I think if, like how, for example, Mother Nature, Father Time.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? Mother provides.
Mama Africa, Father America.
Yeah. So Father Time don't give a shit. He fair.
Mm-hmm.
But the people think Mother Nature's so nurturing. No, nature got hurricanes and tornadoes and fucking volcanoes and all types of shit too.
Yes,
But,
but it's still healing. Nature heals. Look at all the fruits, vegetables, herbs. It's in the shape of a womb. Okay? And y'all men spend your whole lives trying to get in a good old womb.
Yeah, pussy
So-
good now.
So
I ain't gonna lie. Pussy is good. I think that's what God gave y'all. God said that's what fucked Adam up. Adam went out to the garden and he wanted some pussy. And Eve said, nigga, I already ate the goddamn apple. Adam said, shit, I ain't eating that. God said, don't eat that. I'm gonna tell God to get me a new bitch. Eve said, stuck her finger and came up with that slime. Adam said, give me some of that goddamn apple.
oh my gosh. He did not.
I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
The man came from the woman's womb, just like all the men do.
And y'all came from our rib. I don't believe that shit. You
the
know.
woman was first.
Now you know some of that shit,
The black
some bullshit.
womb
You gonna tell me
man
God
was
made the
first.
woman from the man's rib?
No,
You know what I'm saying?
y'all, we were here first from the ether Eve gene.
Yeah. We gonna get into
Here.
that Dr. Savage bullshit in a minute. I'm
We
just
gonna whip
messing with you.
Javon's ass if he keep calling
Hey,
my
look,
stuff
people,
that.
I appreciate y'all. I thank y'all. Y'all tune in tomorrow night for me and Miss Carol. I don't know what we're gonna be talking about, but she gonna have something cooked up real good for us. Y'all give my co-host a wonderful hand for making it in today. She didn't stand me up. I know she real busy, so you know I fuck with you on air sometime, but I really appreciate you driving all the way up here to be on the show.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to say before we get out of here?
I want to say happy lunar eclipse. We have our spring equinox coming up. Happy full moon, this wonderful full moon energy to make sure that we all release the pain of the past so that we can progress and prosper in our future.
And if
Again.
you have any crystals, rocks, stones, you take them outside.
You be quiet,
You sit them
Javon.
under that moon, and I'm telling you, the goddess Ether would, man, you will have you some good shit going on. I appreciate y'all, family. Love y'all. See y'all tomorrow.
Peace and purpose. You're